Okay, and we are live. Saeed, thank you for being on the podcast once again. You are family. Last time you were on the podcast, I think it was like episode 40 something. We talked cryptocurrency. Um, Fun fact, I want you to give an introduction and I want a recap of when we did the cryptocurrency, your predictions, and how your predictions did overall. So give a quick introduction once again, and let's talk about the crypto and about what we'll be talking about today.
Awesome, awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Very excited. I remember the first time we did it, it was here at the house. We were together. It was great. I mean, it was fun. I was really nervous. Actually, it was my first ever podcast. And then now, here we are. I got a little bit more experience under my belt. As you know, I kind of started doing the podcasting as well. And so I guess a little intro backstory about me. I went to school for finance. So I've always had, a passion for numbers, for investing. And when we spoke last time, I was really deep into the crypto market. I was following it. I was invested. I was talking very highly. Still to this day, I'm a firm believer in Bitcoin and crypto in the long run. Obviously, with all types of investments, there's ups and downs in the market, right? The stock market is not performing as well. Crypto, just everything overall right now is crazy. So last time we spoke, obviously the market was kind of in a bull cycle more or less, and then everything just kind of took a dump overall. Inflation's running crazy. We have banks going under. It's just the market right now is not in a good place. But surprisingly, for Bitcoin and crypto, it's actually been going up as of lately. With everything that's been happening in the banks, like people are starting to realize the importance of self custody and all that good stuff. So that's the crypto side. So I was, I'm still in it, but now I'm more on the traditional financial services field, and specifically in the insurance industry. So that's kind of why we jumped on this call. It's something that I've been doing for a couple months now. I've been doing really good. I've been growing my team. I've been working. It's crazy small world. I'm actually working alongside my basketball coach from high school, and he's
No
pretty
way.
much bridged me, yeah, into the school market. So I've been going to schools, giving pretty much the presentation that I'm going to be giving to you guys today. It's stuff that's very simple, but surprisingly, it's not something that a lot of people know about, and also it's not something that we come across a lot. And that's kind of why I'm here, right? To go out there, provide this value, educate people as much as possible. And surprisingly for me, I went to school for finance. I studied finance, and this is something that was never taught to me. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And that's kind of what we're going to get into today. Just talk a little bit about the presentations that I do for schools, for teachers, for the police department, and just any person and any individual that I sit down with. I pretty much give them some baseline standards of how your money grows, different ways of investing your money, protecting yourself, your family, and also leaving a legacy behind. And that's what we're going to be getting into today.
Man, that's amazing. I can't wait. Uh, Another thing that I'm starting to realize about life insurance, life insurance is it's not just life insurance. It's not just, hey, you might die one day or you're eventually going to die and here's money for your family, the end. There's more to it, right? I have an understanding. um it's funny because this Instagram and social media thing teaches a lot of stuff, and there was like a week where I was like, you know what, every single video I see, I'm gonna attempt that. And I started attempting a lot of that stuff. I'm like, oh shit, this is legit. So one of the things with life insurance is you can pull out money. Is that right?
Absolutely. So we'll get into that stuff, that technical stuff, when I show you the three different policies that we help our clients with. But yes, there's actually a lot of benefits that go with having life insurance. And actually, I just read this book that was recommended by one of my mentors, and it talks about life insurance and about how McDonald's, Disney, all these really big corporations have used high cash value life insurance to take out loans, to invest back into their business. So there's a lot of flexibility. And like you said, when you think about life insurance, it's like, oh, if I pass away tomorrow, I leave something behind to my family. But people never realize that it's actually also an investment vehicle where you can put money and grow your money. And it has a lot of other benefits that we'll get into it when I go into the presentation. And like I said, it's something that's not taught in schools. And there's reasons for that. So, when I started digging deep into the industry, doing more research, it's funny because I started analyzing banks, right? The banks' balance sheets. And I actually saw there's a section in the balance sheet that's called BOLI, BOLI, and it stands for bank owned life insurance. And when you start looking at the numbers of the amount of money that banks have in life insurance, it's actually pretty crazy, like billions of dollars. Like Wells Fargo 10 billion, Chase 15 billion dollars. So these banks, we put our money in the banks, and the banks go and invest it in high cash value life insurance. They reap the benefits, and then they pay us the 0.0001%. So essentially what I teach is just, hey, listen, you can do this yourself. You just need to understand, the different policies, and we'll get into that fun stuff when I do the presentation. You'll see it more visually, and it'll definitely break things down much simpler. And obviously, any questions, please feel free to ask. This is why we're here.
Absolutely. Um, well, before we get into it real quick, how's the family?
The family's great. Mom's in Colombia. She's down there. She's going to be there for a couple months. Pops is great. He's here, just chilling. You know how it is with him, retired life. So enjoying that. And he's actually going to Colombia next month, and he's going to be going for like a month and a half. Sister's great. We actually just went this week to. She was inducted into the honor society at her school. So
Oh,
we were
wow.
there for that. So she's doing great in school, very, very smart, great grades. And she actually just got back today from a job interview. She's going to be starting work at AMC Theaters starting Friday. So it's
That's
got a
awesome.
job now, and it's got the ball rolling. Very happy for her. She's got about a year and a half left of school, and then the big boy leagues, college, military, or figure it out.
That's awesome. Let's get into it.
Alrighty, awesome. So if you can share the screen, we'll get right into it. Beautiful. So when I go to schools and I speak to teachers and I speak to all of my clients, this is the first thing that I get into, which is the three ways that our money grows. So when you think about the three ways, the first way is in a fixed account. So Robert, let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of a fixed account before?
I've heard of it, but don't know quite exactly what it is.
Awesome. So a fixed account is actually like your bank, your savings. So you put your money in the bank, your money doesn't really grow, right? The bank pays probably 0.001%, if that. So if you were to put your money into the bank for retirement or for the long run, your money is not going to really grow or do anything. So like you see the blue line is pretty stagnant, right? The
Right.
second way is in a variable account. Have you ever heard of a variable account?
Yeah, it's variable.
So variable is like your stocks, your crypto, mutual funds, and also the big one, 401k. So this is kind of what I break down to people when it comes to retirement plans. So you got the 401k, 456, 402bs, TSP for military. These are all different retirement accounts, but the difference is like when you say 401k or 403b, it's just a different tax code, but it's essentially built the same exact way. Now these accounts, these retirement accounts, are tied to the market, and the market is what? It's a variable market. It goes up and it goes down. So
Right.
what's happened last year is that people in their 401ks have lost 30-40% of what they had in their 401k because it was tied to the stock market. And how did the stock market do last year? It didn't do too well. So right now what's happening is I have a lot of teachers, people that have retirement plans, people that were looking into retirement this year, and because they've lost 30-40%, now unfortunately they can't retire. Or if you were already retired, now you have to go back to work because now you've lost essentially 40% of what you were getting in terms of retirement. So these are the risky things that come with having your money and these retirement plans, the thing is that people really don't know other options, right? They just, you finish school, you go to college, you get your degree, you go get a job, and now your job has 401k or social security or these pension funds that you put your money into, and then you're just hoping that all the money that you're contributing you're going to have when you retire at 60 years old. But nobody really teaches you, hey, you could grow your money more on this or on that. So people go their whole life working, not understanding when it comes to retirement. Now, boom, they're like, oh my God, I just lost 40-50%. What am I going to do? So my job is essentially to teach people, young people, mid 30s, 40s, everybody from all walks of life, the different options that you have, especially for the young people. Preparing yourself from now is very important and very essential, because what happens is us young people are like, oh, we'll figure it out. We got this later on in life. And then when you get to 40, 50, now you're like, oh, now I'm really worried about it. And your time is not going to be as great as if it was if you started in your early 20s. So that's the risk with, variable accounts, especially when you look to retirement. They vary, they go up and down, and people don't take into account losses either. Like the market goes down 30%, you still have to make up 30% to get back even and then keep going up. So that's what happens in a variable account. And the thing too is that 401ks and these retirement plans were essentially built to benefit the institution, not the person. Because if anything, it actually does bad for someone having their money in a 401k, because it's actually, you wait to pay taxes on your 401k when you get that money, when you retire. And guess what? When you get older, you essentially have more money, you make more money. So you're in a different tax bracket. So this means that you work for 40 years, you go to retire, and now you're going to have to pay more taxes than you were supposed to in the earlier years because you're in a different tax bracket. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Awesome. So this is the problem, right? With these accounts. In a fixed account, your money doesn't grow. In a variable account, it's risky because it goes up and goes down. What we specialize in is in something called an index strategy. Have you ever heard of an index strategy before?
I have not.
Awesome. So index strategy, and the products would be like an IUL, an indexed universal life insurance policy, or a fixed indexed annuity. So the way that this index strategy works is it works on a floor and on a ceiling strategy. This means that when the market goes up, you're capped at 10.25%. Anything after that, the company that you have the policy with keeps the rest. They participate in the market gains. But when the market goes down, you don't lose any money at all. The company takes on all the risk. So for somebody that's looking to put their money into something where it's safe, where they know they're not going to lose any money, where they can contribute to it 30, 40 years and they won't ever lose the principal or the interest that it makes, this is what you would be looking at. This is what I help clients with. So right now I have teachers that have lost $60,000 in their 401k. They have $70,000 left, and they're like, I can't afford to lose this anymore. We essentially roll that over into an annuity. And then for somebody that's looking to build cash value, like in terms of life insurance, we would recommend them an IUL, and we'll get into that in the next couple slides. So that's pretty much it in terms of the three ways that your money grows: fixed account, bank savings, variable account, stock market, crypto. And then an index strategy is what we help our clients with when it comes to the products that we offer, where you don't lose any money and then you make money when the market goes up. Any questions?
No, makes sense.
Beautiful. So we can go to the next one. And this is going to be on my end, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is just kind of a comparison, right? In terms of numerically how something will look compared to if it's in a 401k or an individual retirement account or in an index strategy. So you see that a person in a 401k or a IRA, they started with $100,000. In 1999, the market went up 19.53%. They made 19,530. Great. And a person in an indexed account, they were capped at 9%. They only made $9,000. But guess what happened in 2000, 2001, and 2002? The market went down. So this person in a 401k or individual retirement account, they went all the way down to $71,000, compared to the person in an index strategy that never took on any losses because they have a floor of 0%. They stayed at $109,000. So then back in 2003, market went up 26%. This person's back at 90,000. The other person made $9,000. They're at $118,000. So you see that in the long run, when you don't take on any losses, you end up with more money in an index strategy than in a 401k, IRA, mutual fund, Roth IRA. And then the big difference too is that in an index account, your money is actually growing tax free compared to in a 401k or an IRA, where when you go to withdraw that money, you have to pay taxes. So you see the differences there. Like in a mutual fund 401k, somebody made 83%, and then someone in an index strategy, they made almost 200%. Why? Because they never took on losses. People don't understand that when you take on losses, you have to rebound, and then after you rebound, you got to make more. So they don't really take that into account, and that's kind of numerically the differences between the both. Any questions there?
No, no, it's pretty clear.
Beautiful. So then the next thing that I pretty much go through is four homes of money, right? So the first home is the bank. We put our money in the bank. Your money doesn't really grow, so we rank that a negative. Your money is safe, but we're starting to see now with different banks going under that your money is essentially at risk even in the bank. It is liquid. You can go take out your money whenever you want, and there's no tax advantages. So when we rank this in positives and negatives, in the bank, your money's, 2 out of 4, right? So 50%. The next one is real estate. So what do people normally do when they get some money? Oh, I want to invest into some real estate, generate some cash flows. But in real estate, the growth varies. It goes up, it goes down. So I know you remember back in 2008, real estate market crashed. It went back up. Now it's really high. It's going to go back down. So it varies, right? It's unsteady. The next one is it safe? Not really, because like I said, it varies. It goes up and it goes down. And it's not liquid, because if you want 400,000 out of your house, you can't just get it right there. You have to sell the house, go through a process. So it's not liquid money. And then you do have some tax advantages when it comes to real estate. So we'll give that a positive. So in terms of real estate, the ranking is literally one positive, which is taxes. So we give that 25%. The next one, 401k, 456, 402bs, any of these retirement accounts. Your money, it varies, right? It goes up and it goes down based on the market. It is not safe. Why? Because you're taking on losses. Is it liquid? It's not. In a 401k, you have to wait till you're 59 and a half in order to take out your money. If you take it out before then, you're going to have to pay a crazy amount of taxes. So a lot of people, it's not even worth
If you take it up before how much?
59 and a half.
59 and a half.
Yes, sir.
Also, it's by age.
Yes. Yeah. So, because remember, these accounts are retirement accounts. They want you to wait until you're on retirement age in order to access the money. If you access it before, you're going to have to pay a lot of fees. So people just wait until they retire to access their 401ks.
Got it.
And then there's no tax advantages, right? You actually have to pay taxes when you go to take this money out. And then the last one is what we do, what we specialize in, the universal life insurance policy and the annuities. So in terms of growth, your money does grow, like I showed you earlier in the index strategy. Is it safe? It is. Why? Because you're not taking on any losses. Is your money liquid? It is. You could actually access, depending on how you structure the product in terms of the annuity and how you structure it in terms of the life insurance policy, you're able to access your money actually right away. And obviously, depending on how you set it up, there might be some fees involved, but your money is liquid in these products. And there's
let's talk
tax
about those fees.
Go ahead.
What are those fees?
So the fees, they're all, so when it comes to annuities, depending on how you set it up, you're actually, the fees would be like, you have to pay, for example, this is ballpark numbers, it all varies based on the product, but it'd be a certain percentage of the amount of money that you take out. So like in an annuity, for example, I pour a lump sum of money into it, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to set it up for 7 years. So I'm not going to be able to take it all out until after 7 years. If you take it out before 7 years, you're actually entitled up to 2-3% of what you have a year. Anything after that, you pay some fees on. So it all really depends on how you structure it. Annuities could be structured 7, 10, 15 years. It all really varies depending on how you set it up. And then with life insurance, That we'll get into once I go through the different policies. I'm sure I'll be able to answer your question in terms of the fees when we go through that. Any questions
Perfect.
here when it comes to the four homes of money?
No, no, no. We're good.
Awesome. So then we're just going to get straight into the three different types of life insurance that there is and the ones that I help my clients the most with. So the first one is term insurance. Have you ever heard of term insurance?
No.
Awesome. So
Why?
term
I can
insurance,
assume what it is, but yeah.
what do you know about term insurance?
No, I don't know what it is, but I could assume what it is. It has its terms and conditions and limitations and max amounts and payouts and deductibles. Something along those
Gotcha.
lines, right?
So term insurance is for a period of time, for a term amount of time. So for example, somebody that gets into a term insurance, they could do 15, 20, 30 years, right? Now, the pros, it's very affordable. That's why people normally go with the term insurance. The con is that it expires. So for example, if I'm 26 years old, right? I get a term insurance for the next 30 years. By the time I'm 56 years old, I'm pretty healthy. I take care of myself. I'm hoping to live past 56. When I turn 56, my policy expires. Everything I paid
Mm,
into this policy, the company keeps. And then at 56, now I don't have insurance. I have to go and reapply. Now I'm at an older age. My health is not the same it was at 26 years old. So now I'm going to have
mm.
to pay more and the benefit is going to be less. That's term
Got
insurance.
it.
The thing with term insurance is that 92% of term insurance never pay out. Why? Because people normally outlive the policy. And the reason why so many insurance companies push term insurance is because it's affordable, but it's also because it's the policy that's the most profitable for the companies. Because imagine you're paying into a 18, 17, 19-year-old gets a term insurance for 30 years, they're going to outlive the policy, and everything the person put into the policy, the insurance company keeps. So that's what you get with term.
Got it.
Makes sense. The next one
Yeah.
is return of premium. ROP. Have you ever heard of return of premium before?
No, no, no.
So it's just like term insurance. The only difference is that you actually get your money back once the policy expires. So let's say you set it up for 30 years, you pay into it, and then if you outlive it after 30 years, you get all of your money back. So that's return of premium. So a lot of clients, the reason why they get this policy is because for, let's say, mortgage protection. So somebody buys a house, they're like, I have this mortgage for 30 years, I'm going to get a return of premium, pay it. If God forbid something happens to me, my benefit would pay off the mortgage of the house so I don't leave that burden behind to my family. But then if I outlive the mortgage, pay the house off, all the money I paid into the policy I get back. Make sense?
It makes sense as a consumer, but how does it make sense for the bank or to the insurance company?
The insurance company, great question. So remember, you're putting money into this policy. So the insurance company essentially is gathering this money and they could essentially do whatever they want. They could go invest it. They could go, invest in real estate, generate money. And because they're not paying you any interest or any gains, you're just paying into a policy and hoping to outlive it. And then you get your money back. But in 30 years, imagine you putting all this money into it, what the insurance company is able to invest that money in and being able to make money off of the money you're paying, and then they just give you back what you paid and none of the gains they make from investing the money. Make sense?
Makes sense. Got it.
Awesome. And then the last one, the permanent insurance, the IUL, which is our bread and butter. And this is what we call the Swiss Army knife of life insurance, also known as the new life insurance, which is something not a lot of people know about. The permanent insurance is just how it sounds. It's permanent. So it never expires. So you don't have to worry about, 30 years went by. Now it expires. I don't have coverage. I have to go reapply and it's going to be more expensive. Benefit is not going to be as much. It's permanent. So that means it runs all the way to 121 years. Okay. The
Got
second
it.
one, so the first benefit, obviously, death benefit. God forbid something happens to you, you're gonna leave your family some money behind. And the second one is living benefits. So, like I said earlier, a lot of people think, oh, life insurance is just if I pass away, my family gets money. There's also living benefits that go with it. God forbid, Robert, you get sick, terminal illness, chronic illness, critical illness. You
Oh
get
my
sick to the
God.
point where you're unable to perform 2 out of the 6 daily activities, you're able to access your death benefit to pay for your medical bills. None of us prepare for medical bills. None of us grab money, put it away, and is like, okay, this is for in case I get sick. The problem is that people always need things and they don't have them, and that's where the problem is. So that's kind of why GoFundMe's become so popular. I'm sure you've seen GoFundMe go up, people raising money to take care of medical bills or to put their family member away. We're solving for that. We don't want you to go out there and have to raise money. We want you to be protected in case something happens to you while you're living, so you're able to access this money and pay for medical bills. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Awesome. And then the third one, my favorite is the cash value. Okay, so this is the policy that I personally have is the IUL, and I'll tell you kind of my game plan with the policy. But a cash value. So when you pay your premium, it goes into two different buckets. So the first bucket, you're paying for your policy, right, for the death benefit, living benefit, as well as increasing your death benefit. So the older that you're getting, the higher your death benefit is going to be. So, as an example, I start off, with let's say $300,000 of death benefit. By the time I'm 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, it's going to be 600,000 rather than 300,000. Because the older you get, the closer you are to obviously, making that travel somewhere else. And so your death benefit is going to be higher as you get older. And then the second part is 85% of your premium. So 25% goes into what I just mentioned. 75% goes into the cash value where you're saving this money while it's also being invested. So you pay your premium, 25% goes into the first part, the first bucket, and the 75% goes into your building cash value. You're saving this money, and then you could always access this money because this is your money. So when you say, oh, you could take a loan out, you could take some money out. So this is what I'm doing. What I'm doing, my game plan is I'm paying for my policy. I have the coverage. I'm building cash value. 5 years go down the line, I'm 31 years old. And now I'm like, you know what? I want to invest into some real estate. I want to buy a house. I can go take a loan out on the cash value that I've saved up into the policy, take a loan out on that money, go use it, and then I can pay it back. And the interest I pay back on it, I'm paying myself rather than the bank.
Mm,
Makes sense. So
yeah.
also, so like there was a cool video that was out there. Waka Flocka was talking about it. He goes, "Oh, I used to go spend money, just throw money away, whatever. Now what I do is I get life insurance. I put it into my cash value. I take a loan out. I go and spend it, but I still have it there." And then you pay it, for the life of the policy. And then let's say you never pay it and you pass away. What they'll do is they'll deduct from your death benefit what you owed, and then you're good to go, and then your family gets the death benefit. So that's the cool thing about it. Like, it's very flexible, and then also your money's growing tax free, and you're able to access it tax free as well. So a lot of people that have skin in the game when it comes to investing, that's why they put their money into cash value life insurance, is for those tax benefits and tax advantages that you get with these policies.
Interesting. Yeah, that's exactly how it was explained.
So that's kind of what I'm doing with it. I'm paying my policy, making sure I'm protected if God forbid something happens to me while I'm living or if I pass away. But then I'm also saving that money where, in a couple of years, if there's a great opportunity, I'll just go take a loan out on that money I have built up, go use it, and then I'm paying myself back and also the interest rate that you get on that loan is by far the best of the best, because these companies essentially have no risk involved in lending you your own money because it's already collateralized. It's not like they're just giving you the loan and hoping you pay it back. It's already there. It's money that you already have. Make sense?
Right. Yeah, they're making more money on it actually because they're charging you interest on money that's yours.
Well, the interest that you pay, you're paying yourself, because remember, it's your money.
Right, but let's say I have $100,000 policy and I want to borrow hypothetically $100,000. The interest that I pay, let's say I pay at a whatever 10%. The 10% when I pay back the loan, it's going to be, let's just say $110,000. That extra $10,000 now goes into my policy, or the insurance company gets that.
That's a great question. So, the money that you're taking out is not the death benefit. The money that you're taking out is the cash value you have in your policy. Because remember, you're
Mm,
saving this money. You're not paying for this policy and that money is being wasted. 85% of it goes to 75, 85 go to saving the money and the others to paying the policy itself. So the money that you go and decide to take out is from money that you already have. You can just take that money with you and use it, or you could
yeah.
take a loan out on that money. And then when you're paying that loan back, you're paying yourself the interest because it's
Got
your
it.
money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that does make sense.
So that's kind of how it's structured. So when I was reading this book, great book. Let me get the name of it. Actually, I'm not really good with reading books. I like to listen to them, so I do like Audible. And the cool thing about the company that I'm working alongside is that we have books of the month. So every month there's a new book that is put out for us to read. And the book I read, well, that I heard, that I listened to, it's called Money, Wealth, Life Insurance: How the Wealthy Use Life Insurance as a Tax-Free Personal Bank to Supercharge Their Savings. And it talks about the history of McDonald's, Disney, kind of like where they got, how they were able to use their high cash value life insurance to be able to invest in back into their business or pay for expenses when they didn't have the money. So that's the power of life insurance. Now, one thing to mention too is that the reason why a lot of people don't know about it is because they don't want you to know about this, because banks do this. This is how banks make money. So imagine if all of us, knew about life insurance and put our money in life insurance, then the banks essentially would be non-existent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Beautiful. And that's it for the slides. So that's pretty much, Robert, what I present when I go into schools, and I pretty much teach. And one thing that I've come to realize is the crazy lack of financial literacy that there's out there. Like, I go and I speak to these teachers, teachers that once were my teachers, right, in high school. And these teachers, they work really hard, they contribute towards their retirement, they go 30, 35, 40 years working, and then when it comes to retirement, nobody really taught them about the pros and cons of having their money in these retirement accounts. Nobody really teaches them how to grow their money, and this is not taught in schools. Like, they don't teach this stuff in schools. Like I told you, I went to school and I got a degree in finance, and I never learned about this. So it's like, it really makes you question things. And also, the reason why I got into the industry is because I didn't want to go into the corporate world. I never saw myself working a 9 to 5 job. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I never personally saw myself doing the 9 to 5. Just the rat race, right? I never saw myself doing that. So I've always been very entrepreneurship driven, very, sales job here, just getting it by all means. And this, right now, working alongside this company is very entrepreneurship driven. I'm essentially building my own agency. I work on my time. I don't have a boss. I have a mentor, and it's been great. And also, the beauty about it is that I don't have to worry about clients calling me up like, hey, like, I lost money, what's going on, what are you doing, blah blah blah. I don't like getting those phone calls. I like to know that I like to give people guarantees, like, hey, I'm guaranteeing you that you're not going to lose any money, and we all sleep well at night. So I'm more on the defensive strategy side of financial planning, financial investing. I'm not on the side where, hedge funds, banks, they grab their money, invest it, whatever. I'm not at Fidelity or Vanguard getting calls from clients saying, I've lost 30, 40,000. What are you going to do? I like to sleep good at night, know that my clients are protected in case something happens to them while they're living, or if they pass away, while also building cash value, making money, and not losing any of it.
No, that's amazing. I'm going to make 2 points. Yeah, there is a big issue with the educational system because not only do they not teach that, but they don't teach you how to maintain your credit, how to be concerned about taking out loans, how to pay off a credit card, what kind of a balance you should keep on a credit card, when to apply, how to save money, how to invest money. They don't teach a lot of stuff. Now, I've had these conversations many times, and here's the other thing. The other thing is, uh, it's people like you that are responsible to get this message out to more people and inform them. And not only that, but it's also a new time where there's so much information accessible that it's also a time for people to start self development, because people that continuously rely on government or the school system to teach them, think they're going to teach them everything, are going to be the same people. I don't know, I might get in trouble for saying this, but are going to be the same people that all ran and got vaccinated because they said they had to be vaccinated because it wasn't about them. It was going to prevent them from getting other people sick. And we later on found out that was not true. And that's what happens when you rely on one source. I'm not talking about just our government. I'm not talking about your state or I'm talking about just when you go to one source. If somebody talks to you and there's doubt, well, it's their responsibility to do research and find out, options, and what you're saying is verifiable. If your government's telling you something, you should probably look at other studies and see what's going on. So yeah, I wish, I don't know where the school system's heading, especially with artificial intelligence, and that's a whole nother conversation too. But where the fuck is the school system going to go? It's been the
I
same educational system for over 100 years. Sit in a classroom, read these old ass books, memorize. It's not even what you learn; it's what you memorized. That's what I noticed about school. School is memorize this for the test. Once you're done with the test, you don't have to memorize that shit anymore, and it's gone. And I sucked at memorizing shit, but I
mm,
kicked ass at presentations. When it was my turn to do presentations, I was doing PowerPoint when PowerPoint just started in high school, and they were like,
nice.
"Fuck, this shit's crazy, bro," and I was like, "Yeah, boom, bitch," like the whole school system's flawed. But
I agree.
the financial part of it, the credit part of it, the insurance part of it, and the investing part of it, it doesn't even exist in the school system.
Well, listen, this is my take on the school system, and I can speak firsthand. First of all, I was terrible student growing up. Like, I played sports. I started playing soccer when I was like 5 years old, all the way till I was like 11. Then I got into basketball. So I've always played sports, but I sucked at school. And then I got through high school because I played sports. I'm going to be frankly honest. I got through high school because I played sports. And then, finished high school is like, okay, like what's next? So I had two routes, right? Either I was going to the military or going to college, right? And I spoke to my dad and I was like, Dad, like, I want to go to the Air Force. And he goes, son, listen, I got two things for you. One is, do you want to get told what to do? And two, do you want to tell people what to do? I was like, Dad, I want to tell people what to do. He was like, cool. So go to college, get a degree. And once you get a degree, then you could choose whether you want to go in as an officer or not. I was like, all right, cool. Went to college. Oh man, my first 2 years in college, I had to indulge in studies the way I've never had before. I don't even know how I got through school. And then now looking back, so I did this, college thing. I got a degree, I got the title, whatever. And now I'm doing this very entrepreneurship, getting it by all means, right? Like figuring things
Mhm.
out.
Yeah.
And I'm able to talk from both perspectives. I'm able to sincerely speak and say, hey, listen, to be honest, you don't have to go to freaking school. You don't. It's a waste. The first 2 years of college were taking standard classes that everyone else takes, just paying for classes, wasting money like crazy. I'm $20,000 in debt. Imagine I would have grabbed $20,000 and invested in a business, invested
Yep.
in myself, invested whatever the case may be. So not
Yep.
only that, but the school system is fractured from the very, very beginnings. For example, right? You're also very entrepreneurship driven. You've done sales, you have a lot of things going on. So you know this world as well. And when you're young from the very, very beginning, when you fail the class, when you get an F in your report card, it is the end of the world. You're going to go home. Your mom's going to beat you with the belt. It's very bad, right? In the real world, right? When you're out here trying to start a business, you're going to fail. And you're going to fail big. You're going to fail once, twice, three times. The more you fail, the more you learn. But guess what? From the very beginning, they put you down for failing. when you're grown and you're running your business and you're figuring things out, you learn through failure, right? So it's things
Right.
that, in my business and what we do, we essentially have to unlearn everything that we've been taught and just learn a whole new way of thinking. Because yes, the school system's fractured. We all know this is nothing new. Is it going to change?
Well, it's not fractured. It's built to minimize your capabilities and my
Mm,
capabilities and the people's capabilities. It's put in there so it's, hey, you need to be a good employee. You need to show up. Like the school system is show up on time, do as I say, memorize this, don't do extra, and shut the fuck up. And what does that qualify for? A great employee.
absolutely.
A great fucking employee.
Absolutely. And then even with a college degree, right? When you finish with your college degree, now you go into the real world. And what does that title say? It says you're able to follow directions, right? And then you
Yeah.
go and it's
Well, the worst part with the college degree is now you're overqualified.
now I'm overqualified.
You're
But you know
overqualified.
what? Now a bachelor's is nothing. If you don't have a master's, like, and then guess what? You get a
Even if you have a
bachelor's.
master's, it's nothing. It don't
No, no,
matter.
and then they want you to have 10 years of experience coming out of college. Like, you know
I,
what I
I,
mean?
I
It's
just I just recorded an episode yesterday, and it's executives with master's degrees in television, radio, networks, big corporate networks. I'm talking about big names. And yesterday they were sitting here and we were recording and they were talking about how fucked their industries is, how there's no jobs, how AI is taking over, how YouTube took over television, how my mom doesn't even watch TV anymore. She watches YouTube.
Mhm.
Whatever she wants to learn, she watches YouTube. And these are, and it's funny because these people that were here yesterday are the same people that 5 years ago, 10 years ago would talk down to people that didn't have, a bachelor's or a master's or an education, didn't get school. They would talk down. And now they went from a 5 million, $10 million studio production with 100 employees to the Right Boundless studio. You know what I mean? To the Right Boundless studio to see how I'm doing it, to see what I'm doing it, to see if that we can collaborate, to see, and it's fucking funny that happens, and it happens with the people that think outside the box. It thinks about the people, the dropouts, that quit school. I'm not saying drop out, learn your shit, fucking get maximize from it. Don't let it dictate your life, but maximize from it. But it's funny, man, that the people. I'll give you another example. The people raised in America, they're the best employees in the fucking world. But look at all the people that come to America.
Mm.
Why is it everybody that comes into America within 5 years, they own a business, they own a house, they took out multiple fucking loans out. Their mentality is like, what? You can get a loan for the bank for this, and if I show this, and if I pull out this document, and if I pull out this request and put a business plan, I can do all this stuff. But Americans or people grown up here in the system say, no, no, it's not. Okay, we're back on. Sorry about that, guys. We had a shortage. School systems are flawed. Guys, it's back to don't look for one source, and look for better opportunities, and do your research and find out what's the best way of doing things. Saeed, how can people find you? What's your contact information? And they can call you up and set up a one-on-one if they want more info, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. So you could find me Instagram, Sahid Abdallah 22. That's SAHID ABDALA 22. And then you could also reach out through email, Sahid Abdallah SAHIDABDALA.php@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out through either Instagram or email. And yes, I will be more than happy to jump on a call and answer questions when it comes to the industry, when it comes to life insurance, or even if people are looking for an opportunity, I am able to provide that. We are increasingly growing, we're hiring nonstop. The industry is booming. There's a lot of demand for people like us. A lot of people right now are losing money and they need help. Also, a lot of people need education in terms of what is out there. And so we are always hiring. So if you have any questions, if it comes to the policies or either wanting to do this, please reach out through either Instagram or email.
Okay, perfect. And okay, we're short on time, but yeah, that's another good topic. That people are looking for jobs like this. Do me a favor, send me information of the job qualifications and job descriptions, and
Simple. It's actually very simple. Have to be 18, have a social security, and no felonies or anything crazy like that. But surprisingly, to start, I mean that's the qualifications: 18, U.S. citizen, no felonies. We help you with getting your license, getting appointed with the carriers. We help you and guide you through everything. It's something that you could do part time, full time, or even on the side. It's based on you. Like I always recommend my friends and people that I know, it's like you should always have a real estate license and an insurance license. Why? Because somebody's always going to need a house and somebody's always going to need to insure themselves. So it's something
I
that you
like
can
that.
have just, add to your daily living, go about it as you go and tell people what you do and make some extra money on the side doing it.
That's awesome. That's some good advice, and you're right. I wish I would have had the real estate or the insurance in the last 20 years.
That's all right. It's never too late.
That's true too.
It's
That's
never
true.
too late.
Dale, chico.
Dale, thank you so much.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it. And I am excited to eventually one day fly out there and do it in person. And, just touch base. I know we have plans on seeing each other in August in Vegas. I'm going to send you the dates and the information. And yeah, just, thanks again to you for having me on again. And I'm hoping to do this again sometime in person.
You got it, man. Anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Saeed. Have a great night, man.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.